Good morning, welcome to Morning Views. It's Kim Watson speaking on Monday, the 18th of July. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, Friday we sold off pretty much most of the day eventually, resulting in this bearish pivot swing pattern that we've got there at the moment. Now, maybe in an overreaction, I'm not sure, but at the moment, well, you look at the day was probably one of the broadest or biggest days we'd seen for quite some time in range. What's it going to do now? Well, you've got the weekly pivot above us. There's quite a few bits above us, but for us to bounce from this sort of levels, we've got a whole lot of moving averages to get through first, which are pretty flat moving averages to be fair. So and they've been sitting there and we've been chewing backwards and forwards on those 4 hourly moving averages for some time. It could be that we want to push up a little bit further and break through those. We'll see. Looking at the shorter term, we've caught the weekly pivot, beg your pardon on this, and just looking, let's just go back. Oh, it's hidden underneath there, that's why I couldn't see it. I was wondering where it was. We've already caught the weekly pivot. So from this point here then, at the moment it looks quite bearish, and we've got a gap to fill below us, and I'm wondering whether we'll get that gap filled first, and maybe that will draw us down towards the double bottom area. Any sort of movement back above the weekly pivots, and well, that could see us running back up and giving us a bit of a bounce. It's a really awkward day in terms of analysis here because of the bigger picture. It's just we've got no trend going on as such. 4 hours, so I'm looking at the shorter term frames for giving us a bit of a clue in terms of what the trend may be, and that's not really helping too much either. If anything, we've got this sort of bearish flag pattern, which, well, and I guess that's shown on the hourlies here, which could see further downside. At the moment, I'm sort of favouring the downside. Okay, this candle isn't finished, but maybe a break below that. We'll see that gap filled and perhaps some more to the downside. We'll see. If we do break the lows on Friday, well, that triggers the daily pivot swing that's sitting there, which may see us come down towards the S1. Right, the pound. Let's look at the bigger picture first, and again, quite a big downward bar, but not massive compared to what we've seen. It's again luring towards the bearish side because we have got the definitely got the weekly pivot below us there. So that's just sitting just fractionally below us, which would become a decent target. If we start selling off, in fact, we might just sell off before we get towards the 8 o'clock pivot, which would be a bit of a shame, but there is that potential. If we break the weekly pivot, well, further downside towards the S1. On the bigger picture, I'm still mildly bullish, not massively bullish, but mildly bullish on cable. It is reacting to this daily 21 by looks of things. It's whether how far it comes. It may just be, we've got the daily 8 just curling around nicely here. It may just come down, find some support off that, which corresponds roughly with that 4 hourly 50, which again may be a bit of a target there. It'll break the lows there, but won't have done too much harm by doing so. Just work off some of the move from last week, but that's certainly a potential at the moment. Again, bearish flag that we got sitting on at the moment. Dollar yen. Well, dollar yen on Friday recovered. I say recovered, but yen recovered some of its losses, but real reaction to that daily 50 at the moment is pushing back again, and it looks rather positive, if anything, for further upside. We've got the weekly pivot below, which if you do start seeing a breakdown would be an obvious target. Just looking for anything else that's obvious there. Shorter time frame daily pivot as well, of course. So there are a couple of targets below. If it starts breaking down at the moment, the bigger picture still errs more to the upside, although last week we did have some divergence sort of moves running between the highs there, so it may have a little bit more of a correction to make once the London session gets well underway. Aussie dollar, Big sell-off, bearish engulfing on Friday. Again, looks weak at the moment. So all these markets are looking weak. We've already gone through the weekly pivot there. That's with cable. Daily pivot's above us, untouched at the moment. Well, it's always the target if we was to change course, but at the moment it looks like it could be heading back south, back towards that 200. And finally, the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar had done pretty well, partially on the oil price, but saying that the oil price had given up at part way through the week there for a while. It sort of gave up midweek and then picked up again. But the Canadian dollar, it's on Friday, ended up on a rally. We could push up some more. Really looking between the two. Actually, I need to just come back and look at what oil's doing more. It does still look a bit bearish, doesn't it? On this picture here, I mean, it's come off quite a way, relatively, $6 or so, and it does still look to me erring on the bearish side there, which could mean we could see further upside on the Canadian dollar from where we're going. We have got weekly pivot above, which would be a reasonable target in the short term, and coming down, well, oil's just tipping off again at the moment, and we see this rather extended bull flag. It's say rather extended, but it may start pushing up, and we already call it daily pivot, so it's possible we could come and test this week's pivot, which is above us, and maybe the R1, so it's probably looking more easy one in some respects. Okay, news-wise today, there's not a significant amount. We've got, oh, he's already spoken. Let me look what else we got. Not a lot, really. There's nothing of any significance here apart from the 9:30 this evening. We've got the monetary policy minutes. It's, just check I haven't filtered any countries out. No, I do what it does. It does make me worry when there's hardly anything on the list. So there's nothing of great significance there. The foreign sector is meeting over in Europe. May get some comments and more rhetoric from that sort of thing, but aside of that, nothing. So, wish you a great day. Bye for now.